Welcome to the Endless Honeymoon Podcast.
It's the messiah of comedy himself, Moshe Kasher.
Is that what you go by now?
I've been starting to think about new nicknames to try to market myself. What do you think of that one?
Don't like it.
No? Okay.
Aren't you against messiahs?
No, we like messiahs.
Wait, so Jews think there's someone else that's like Jesus coming that's
Mm-hmm.
Wait, when do we just get to like make up new religions?
They're doing it right now. QAnon.
That's a religion?
You should check it out.
Well, I don't want that one, but I'd like to make up my own where it's like you like some parts of the religion except the part where you have to go to temple.
Describe your new religion.
Describe your perfect religion.
Yes, I'm listening.
Oh, me? Okay. You enter every situation. When you try to leave a situation, you try to leave it better.
Mm-hmm.
Leave a conversation, leave a person, leave a room. This could help you. I realized you've never made a room better from walking into it.
Wait, let me ask you this. Do you think that this what you're doing, this critique, is making it better as you leave?
Such a good point.
That I'm making?
Yeah.
Thank you so much. You know who makes really good points?
Who?
The messiah of comedy himself.
No, you're right though, because it's like I have this whole philosophy that I think would be awesome, but then I'm like, I'm still going to treat you like shit.
You know what? I think I have a name for your religion.
Marriage in a pandemic?
No, hypocrisy. It's kind of fun.
It's tough out there.
It's tough out there for you. I'm having the greatest time ever. I'm just chilling.
I think more
Oh,
women
I got
are.
some good news.
Can I say one thing?
Actually, no. I'm so sorry, but no. No, and it's our producer. She just said that you can't actually say any more things. Go ahead.
I think women are slightly more annoyed at their partners than men are. Because women have been doing everything for so long.
This is a point you've never made before, too, so I'm glad you're bringing it up.
No, this is a new point. Not just that women are mad, but that men are like, what's wrong? Things are awesome.
Is that how men sound?
Some of them.
Now, Natasha, when I walked in, speaking of our producer, you know what she said to me? What's up with the beanie thing?
About on you?
Yeah, it was actually kind of a Natasha-esque query.
What's up with the beanie thing?
It wasn't like, hey, that's a cool new look. It was, what's up with the beanie thing? You know, making me think a little bit like, oh, you don't like it.
Well, I'm wearing a turban and she didn't say anything to me. So.
Right. She let that one slide.
I know what happened.
What's that?
Maybe your beanie's wearing you. And with me, I just can kind of like absorb any fashion because it looks cool on me.
The thing is with you, when you put that on, you have actually great power.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like you can grant up to 3 wishes.
It's part of my new religion, wear a turban.
Yeah. Honey, I said you can grant up to 3 wishes. Because you look like a bit of a genie.
Do I really look like a genie?
No, you look pretty good.
Thank you.
I mean, genies look good too. Remember I Dream of Jeannie?
Oh, I know. She was cool.
Yeah. You know who else is cool?
Who?
The messiah of comedy himself, old MK.
Okay,
now,
well, listen, our guest is waiting in the waiting room.
She is waiting.
So let her in?
She's a very special guest, of course. You've seen her in many, many films. You've seen her in many. She's the host of a lot of wonderful podcasts. She's a big star and on the rise, I would say.
I mean, she had the #1 movie on Netflix during the pandemic.
Ladies and gentlemen, Meryl Streep.
I don't think Meryl Streep had the #1 movie.
She was in Don't Look Up, so yeah, she technically, yes.
That's the #1 movie?
It was the #1 movie for a time.
That is an amazing movie.
But you know what?
But also,
we have an amazing guest, and she's even more. And I'm going to say this. Can I just say one thing?
Yeah.
Is that okay? Okay. I'm going to say this. Our guest is 100% more funny than the GOAT herself, Meryl Streep. She's funnier. You've seen her in Orange is the New Black.
She was the star of the #1 movie on Netflix, The Wrong Missy, which I auditioned for. She got the part.
You know what?
Is that weird to say that?
It is, yeah. Weird to bring
She
up.
was in another period. No, I remember seeing her in the movie and thinking, oh, I auditioned for that. She did it better.
The point is we are lucky to have her, and we would like to bring her in right now. Ladies and gentlemen, Lauren Lapkus. Here she comes. Hi.
I love your room.
Thank you.
Is that your baby's room, or that's like your cute office?
This is my little podcast studio.
Oh my God, I love it.
Now, can I ask you a question? No shade at all, but do you think, just to go on the record, that you are funnier than Meryl Streep? And be honest.
Yeah.
Yeah, right? Yeah, that's what we said in the intro, that you're funnier than Meryl Streep. We want to make sure that you co-signed it.
You guys want to hear something funny, though? Lauren, once I was Googling how many IMDb credits I had, and I was like, oh, I saw it and it was like 96 credits. And then I looked up Meryl Streep and she is like in the 60s. And I'm like, oh, I have more credit, but that's not a good thing. That's not a brag.
She wasn't.
She's just been in like, she does like 2 hits a year. I do like 40
she
bad
just
things.
has amazing classics.
well, she wasn't in that 70s house, right? She did not.
Moshe.
That was, I mean,
that one was me.
Honestly, she would have been a bad choice for that. And Lauren, that's what I wanted to loop you in on is as far as being a comedic actress and improviser, you wipe the fucking floor with Meryl Streep. And I just wanted to talk about that.
Why are we talking about Meryl Streep?
I'm so glad this came up.
Well, it came up because you were in the #1 movie on Netflix, and we misdirected our audience and said, "Ladies and gentlemen, Meryl Streep," and then it became a situation where we're like, actually, our guest is funnier than her. So anyway, we're so glad you're here.
Wow, that's so nice. Thank you. I'm so excited. I'm a big fan of the show. I listen all the time.
Oh, that's amazing.
Love it. Yeah.
Wait, you don't have to put this on air, but when you podcast, are you like remote by yourself here?
Yeah, I mean, nowadays.
That's amazing. I know it's really hard having a little baby right now because people don't treat us like citizens.
What do you mean?
Everyone's like, just come over. What? Are you vaxxed? Are you boosted?
Wait,
just come on inside.
I know.
Even tonight, Moshe was having dinner with friends. He wants to bring the kid. I'm like, are they going to test? And he's like, what? You want them to test? Do you have a test?
There's so much wrong with what you're saying right now, Natasha. They weren't my friends. It was my mother and my brother.
I was trying to conceal it.
And then also, you hit Lauren up and said, do you want to come and do this podcast in person?
No. It's outside, Moshe.
No, that was, she explained how it was safe.
Hello.
And I firmly agree with you. That's as good as it possibly can get to be outside and spaced apart,
Yeah.
Outside. But I'm just saying, like, even Fauci's like, yeah, if you're not vaccinated, you're going to die. And it's like, well, people who have kids under 5, it's like, that's a very harrowing thing to say is like, our main guidance.
I agree. No one's including that information when they say what you can do. Like,
yeah,
it's like, well, if you're vaxxed, you can go do whatever you want. And I'm like, then what happens when I bring COVID home to my baby?
And congratulations. When I saw that you had a baby, I don't know. I thought maybe you were someone who might want to skip it for some reason.
No way. Oh no.
How have you found your experience? What's going on over there? What's the biggest challenge?
Well, I'm loving it, honestly. I'm like really happy. I was working towards this for a long time, so I'm very happy. And what's the biggest challenge, I think, is like not being able to have people come over easily, because I just love having friends over, and like that's been really hard. So, and I would love to be able to have her meet more people.
One thing you could do if you wanted her to meet us is we have this outdoor area of our podcasting space, and you could just put her in like a manger in like sort of on our cold porch, and we could kind of wave from here if you'd ever be comfortable with that.
Wait, she's 2?
She's 6 months.
Oh, you want her to meet more people? I mean, you could like stay home for 3 years.
I could like.
You're just bored. You want your friends.
I'm just sad. Yes, I want to meet more people.
No, you know what? I have to say one of my favorite times in my life since I've been married and had a child, because there were a lot of them before that.
Okay.
But is when I had the baby, I had this like really big kimono that I would wear every day for like, must have been 8 months. And then like a different person would come over. Like my schedule was like Monday, this girl's coming over. Wednesday, my friend's coming over. And it was like this like open house, and people just kept coming and bringing me things and meeting her. And God, it was such a fun time.
Yeah. It's kind of
sorry.
Yeah, that's what you're missing.
I feel sad to miss that.
I didn't know that was a thing though. Mine just kind of happened, and I've never done that for anyone since, and I should have, because it made me feel so good. Like my friend Marilyn brought me like stew, and like my friend Beth brought me like all her kids hand-me-downs.
You are
and,
deeply rubbing salt in Lauren's wounds right now.
Because I didn't come on.
Because she's trapped in this dollhouse podcast studio.
No, but honestly, Lauren, it was like people who are the same amount of friends as us were like just coming over. Like I hadn't even like talked to these people in a couple years. It was like, that just what happens. But maybe you can have like a little homecoming, or actually I think May feels good.
Yeah. I'm hoping that, this summer it's going to be a little bit better and we can just do some normal shit. But, I don't, it's fine. If it doesn't happen, I'll just keep doing what I'm doing.
Well, if this makes you
feel like it's fine.
If this makes you feel any better, like try to feel happy that you do have a 6-month-old, because, you know, maybe when she's like more cognizant and is going to have actual memories, like all of this will just be a thing of the past. Like our daughter said to me the other day, oh, I told you this. I didn't tell Moshe. She said, I told her she had to wear an N95 mask to preschool. And she was like, Mommy, when the coronavirus is over, can I wear any mask? And
I just think that's so sweet.
You think it's sweet?
Well, we are such in a liberal bubble. Like, whoa.
I mean, it's sad. It's sad because it's horrible that we have all the kids have to deal with this. But like, she's seeing it as like, this is the temporary part, is this kind of mask that I don't really like as much. Like when I can wear my cuter mask, that'll be better. And so that's just a positive spin.
Well, you know, we have our kid not wearing N95 masks, but those large painter masks with the gigantic filters for like biohazard and stuff like that. So it's a little different. She is having a hard time breathing.
I don't know. I got to say, she wears her mask sometimes from 8:30 to like 5 p.m. and does not complain. So I don't think it really bothers them that much.
Yeah.
The kids don't really seem to care about the mask. That's what I've picked up on, at least. The kids that I know are not. They're not really complaining about that.
The parents of the kids in states without mask mandates are really mad.
Yeah. No. Well, it's funny. What Natasha's saying is so right. Like 6 months old is she's totally not going to remember any of this. Like I was thinking today, I'm writing this book and I'm writing about my the different subcultures I've been a part of, and one of them was the rave scene, and it's such a huge part of my identity as a teenager. And I started realizing the timeline was I went to raves for like 5 years, and it's a gigantic part of my identity. And I was thinking about 3 years getting taken away from teenagers. Like my age, I was like 16 to like 21 or something. Like you take 3 years away from people where they're just sitting inside doing nothing.
With their parents who they're already trying to get away from.
6 months is dope.
Yeah, no, I agree. I do think high schoolers who I feel the worst for in many ways because of that. Like you just don't get all those life experiences of like making out with someone and like smoking weed in a car, like all the things that are like fun.
Although it is kind of cool because like when you're young, you have kind of a death wish, and making out with someone at this point could literally kill you. So there's something kind of cool and edgy about it if they do it.
I mean, can you even imagine our moms? I don't know what happened to your mom, but our moms were like stay-at-home mom, or like not stay-at-home moms, working mothers. Like what would have happened if there was like COVID and like we had to be home and not in high school, and our parents like would just be, we were all home together? Like I would have run away from home.
Yeah. No, that would have been really stressful.
It just sounds really, anyway, I'm glad we have
and depressing
babies that are flourishing.
Yeah.
And
me too.
Okay, Lauren, right now you have to decide. Do you have a son or a daughter, or neither?
It's a daughter.
Okay, it's a daughter. You got to decide right now what your daughter is going to be. It's your choice. You have to decide now. What are you choosing?
Comedian.
Okay, that's a great call.
Are you serious?
No, I don't want that.
Oh, okay.
I know if she was that, well, I'm totally kidding, but I do think I've had little daydreams where I'm like, what if she ended up being interested in that, and then we perform together? I'm like, that's kind of cute.
That's cute. But what happens when she eclipses your career? You're going to be so jealous and so not into it, you know?
I think
that'll be a dark time.
Yeah.
You would love it if your child eclipsed you, I think.
No, that's everyone's dream.
Is for their child to be more successful than them. I guess that's true. You know, it's funny. I was thinking about comedy today. Like my career, if I had told myself when I was young what I would be doing, I would have been like, oh my God, I decided to do something unbelievably amazing and interesting and exciting, and that's so cool. But now when I think about my kid joining comedy, I'm like, that's the last, or anything Hollywood related, I'm like, the last fucking thing on earth I would ever want her to do. It's like being inside of it makes you go, no.
And I think it's so different when you're not from here and like that's your dream, and then you move here and do it. It's like you've achieved something special. But if you grew up here and your parents are in it, it's kind of like, oh, it's all you knew. Like it's just a totally different perspective on it.
I just wanted to be like Kristen Stewart. You know, her father's a stage manager, and she makes it big.
Okay, well, I don't want my daughter to be an actress.
Okay.
I'd like her to be an environmental scientist.
She has been telling us she's a geologist.
Oh.
She's decided that she's a geologist.
But the chances that she is going to be good at math or science seem very low. Well,
Does
because
she
I
have a
cheated
rock
in
collection?
She kind of does. Honestly, I think she likes calling herself a geologist more than she really likes rocks.
The funny thing is, she's actually pretty stressed out about what she's going to be. She told me today at lunch, she's like, Mom, I don't know. I keep changing what I want to be when I grow up. And she was like, tell me all the things I can do. And she's like, she's really into like picking what. And so I was explaining what the arts were. And that made me feel kind of happy today because I was like thinking of the arts. And I was like, yeah, it's really hard to make a career in the arts. And I was explaining all the different arts. And then I was thinking like, oh, I've made a career in the arts. That's like, that's like a specific thing. So I was trying to explain to her all the things. And then she's like, Mom, why is everything how it is? And then she started asking me how babies were made and she's 4. And I was just like,
I got to go.
I was like, okay, it's time for your nap.
Lauren, did you always want to be a comedian actor person? Was that always the dream?
From like, I would say like 4th grade, that's when I started wanting to do that. But I think before that, I wanted to be a vet and I wanted to be a writer. Those were Chris, I used to read a lot of stories in elementary school that were pretty good.
You wrote stories?
Yeah, I definitely just like copied Babysitter's Club. Like it was just like the 3 friends. And then they would do different adventures. And there was always some sort of hijinks happening. And I liked to write like long little stories.
Do you have them? Do you have any?
Yeah, I do. Actually, I was in this theater company called the Story Pirates where they perform stories written by kids. And it's a really cute theater company. And they have a podcast if anyone out there has kids and they want to listen to that kind of thing. But I had a going away party when I left New York and my friends performed my story as like a Story Pirate story. And they acted out one of the stories that I wrote as a kid. And it was really cute. And the fun thing with that show is like they kind of point out all the like silly like things that don't make sense about what the kid wrote. I mean, it's always very like loving and fun, but in my story, like they took a boat from New York to California. It's all just like stupid shit. Sure. I don't know what was going on.
You can do that. It's possible.
No.
Yes, you can. You go south to Panama, you cross through the canal, and you come back up the West Coast. It's a bit out of the way. Yeah.
Can you really do that?
Yeah, you can do that.
Okay.
My childhood, I did the same thing as you, Lauren. I used to write funny stories for the class where I would like roast the students and everybody loved it and I would perform them in front of the class. And that got me to writing. The 4th grade teacher asked me and the 1 straight A student to co-write our school play in 4th grade. It was called Westward Ho. Wow. Speaking of going from New York to California, it was called Westward Ho and it was about a pioneer journey to the West, and I was also cast as the lead in that play. And then I was such a class clown and so obnoxious that one day he fired me for being out of place in line as the lead, and I got instead I was Native American number 3.
And you wrote this thing?
I was the screenwriter, and I went from the lead to Native American number 3, and my only lines was, "We are friends. We are here to help you. Here, have these berries."
That's what he told you, but maybe it was your acting that kind of got you demoted.
It could be.
He's like, yeah.
Yeah, did you deliver it like that?
Well, I delivered Native American number 3 like that because I was upset that I'd been bumped. I mean, when I was the lead, it was scintillating. But you know what? It's okay because that's how I became a TV writer, is because I used to write that kind of crisp dialogue, that Sorkin-esque dialogue, like, "We are friends, we're here to help you, here, have these berries." Like, that is such genius that I knew that I would make a career writing scripts.
Well, congratulations, Moshe.
And congratulations, Lauren, on everything good happening in your life, your baby.
Did it.
Yeah, we did it.
So do you want to take some calls since you have such a perfect life?
Oh, yeah, I'd love to.
Heck yeah, let's do it.
I feel like you have good advice. I can already tell you can help some of these people.
We'll see. But I love how you guys just talk to people. I find that's a very bold podcast move.
To just talk to people.
Just call in and see what happens.
Okay.
Well, I mean, what we lack in impromptu character work like you do, we make up for in content coming to us. So
yeah, we just do less. Okay, well, let's see if we can help Emily in Salem, Massachusetts.
She's a witch.
Hi, Emily.
Hi,
how are you?
I'm good. It's late here.
So
can I ask you a question before we get started and before we introduce our illustrious guest? How much psychological trauma is there for the female community of Salem, Massachusetts, vis-a-vis the witch trials? Is it still ambient and in the air?
Yeah, are there like undercurrents of it?
Yeah, like when you do something gothy, do you worry that there's going to be a backlash?
No, I mean, people come here expecting there to be more of that. But I mean, the history is so terrible and should not be celebrated in any way. So I'm very against it. A lot of other folks who live here and have grown up here,
Got it. Bad opening question. I get it. You have a hacky opening question, and you don't think it's funny to torture random people and throw them in the river. Okay, let's get this podcast started.
Yeah, murder, not cool.
Me, Natasha, Moshe, and our friend Lauren Lapkus is on the line.
Hi.
Hello.
So what's up? How can we help?
Nervous to be here.
Oh, well, look, I made a fool of myself within the first 30 seconds of talking to you. I felt chastised, and I feel I've learned my lesson. And if that makes maybe the tension go down.
I should have been more prepared for that question.
Because some dork was going to be talking to you about it, as they always do when they find out where you're from.
Yeah.
Got it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, exactly. So I wrote in because over the past 2 to 3 years of dating, I have realized a pattern that I have that I really want to break, but I can't figure out what the cause of it is. And today I was just putting together my data and realized that there have been 6 men that I've been involved with who have each either had a panic attack in bed with me or before the date or after sex.
6?
And I don't know why.
6?
Yeah, 6. I thought it was, when I wrote in, I said 3, and then I went through my brain and there are 6.
And what does that look like for them?
Because I've never seen that.
I think they look different for all sorts of people. They've looked different for each of these men, but
can you tell us?
I've all been kind of around the same thing. So mostly it has to do with them being so insecure about their sexual performance. So a couple of times it's been they haven't had sex in a while, and then they can't maintain an erection, and they're like, this has never happened to me before. And then sometimes they cry.
I never heard
sometimes
that. I'm finding out that happens to men for the first time right now as you say it, so that's shocking to me.
Wait, sometimes they cry. Sometimes is it like heavy breathing? I imagine it like that kind of thing. I don't know.
Very sensitive, Natasha. Yeah.
I haven't.
There's been some sobbing before. The last one, it didn't happen in front of me. It happened, he admitted, before he came over. He had a panic attack and still was like, all right, I'm going to go through with it. And then
I wonder if it's regional.
I don't know.
Like the men
in Salem?
Well, I think it's that, but also maybe the men that I'm
of course
drawn to or who I draw in.
Are they extremely sensitive or self-conscious? Is there some sort of trait with connecting them?
So I also broke down their traits in the list that I made today to try to contextualize.
It's really smart that you're doing this, I think. Well, because you're trying to not have it happen again.
Yeah. I really don't want it to happen again. So to give some context, I'm a musician and I'm in a band. And
wait, I'm sorry. Can you hold on 1 second? My kid's screaming.
Emily,
I'm so sorry.
We have some data to deal with as well. Our child just started screaming.
Yeah.
Now we can all get to know each other and break the ice a little bit. Lauren, what are you thinking of Emily so far?
I think she seems really cool. I feel like I'm just wondering what's wrong with these guys. That's where I'm at. I don't think it's a you problem right off the bat.
I hope not, but it seems like it is.
Is it possible? Yeah, it might be a you problem. Maybe, and I'm just going to throw this out there. What if it's witchcraft? It's something for you to think about. Just as
I will say that crossed my mind that maybe there was some sort of vibe in the Salem air that was causing this.
Right.
But then it would be happening with all of my friends too, and I'm the only one.
Yeah, I want to wait for Natasha to get this data because I am curious. It does seem like this just so clearly the men that you're attracting are, for whatever reason, there are these sensitive types or these insecure types that aren't but the panic attack is such a specific kind of insecurity. It's not just I'm generally sexually not confident. It's I'm so not confident I'm going to literally have a physiological attack as a result of it.
Yeah, it always seems very extreme. And each time it happens, I'm like the last time I was like, oh, don't worry, this has happened before. And they're just like, what, really? And it's just, I don't know.
So where'd you guys get?
Well, we haven't gotten to the data points yet of what these guys are like and their similarities. So what do we got?
Yeah.
Yeah, let's hear about that.
I mean,
okay, so
I feel like I already know.
taxes.
I already know they're art students and they're like kind of emo, that and they have kind of tight pants and they have like angular haircuts and stuff like that.
close.
Yeah, I mean I could feel it.
So I am a musician. I'm in a band, and most of the men that I meet are other musicians and people in that community. I also skate, so skaters are part of the data as well.
Oh my God. You're like bringing me back to like when I dated musicians, I have seen a panic attack. It's from one of them.
Really?
Yes. Like they're so emotional. They don't know how to like they don't know how to articulate their feelings. And I think that maybe like the emotions maybe build up and they have no outlet for it. And they're very insecure. Well, this is very generalized, but I think a lot of musicians are really insecure. But keep going.
No, it's true. It's either they're insecure or there's also been...
Maybe it's what makes them so good at expressing human emotion. Like, I think they have to be kind of raw emotionally.
Yeah. Well, so 3 of them have had the same, like a sub pattern where I was the first person that they hooked up with after like a 6 or 7 year relationship, which I didn't seek that out either. And don't know why like that very specific thing was also happening. And I can't explain that, but they were also all musicians. Yeah. It's just these like sad musicians who can't get over their ex-girlfriends and are trying to get over them with me. But then it just turns into a mess.
What kind of music do you play?
Kind of like, I guess
cool
it would
music,
be
Moshe.
in a punk. Yeah.
Got it.
But
I no, dude, I hate the system.
And how do you meet them? Like, do you meet them in like real life? Have you met these guys in real life, or were they people you met online and then you met up and that's just what happened? Like, were they friends of yours or people in your community?
mostly, yeah, like friends of friends, people in my community. A couple of them met online, but like I also had mutual friends with those people. So it's like they were still in that community.
Yeah. Have you dated people outside of the music world much? Or, I mean, I know as a comedian, I feel like it's really easy to just keep dating people within that scene. So I understand it if that hasn't happened, but I'm curious if you've gone out with anyone who's not.
Yeah, well, so I tried to break my pattern on this weekend and like went and hooked up with just some young dude who has nothing to do with music or anything in that community. We don't have any mutual friends. And
heart attack. This guy dropped dead.
I was going to say he was having an exorcism.
Bleeding from the eye.
It was
There
like,
was bile.
It was fun, but like I don't want to date him. I don't want to see him again because we have nothing in common.
Here's what I'm thinking. I'm thinking that you are probably in a pattern that is subconscious to you. I mean, I think that's obvious, but that you're in a loop where you're attracting the same guy over and over again. Because I kind of don't.
Yeah.
I mean, Lauren said she has dated in the comedy community. that'll be my first suggestion. Find a comedian, because comedians are comedians are just so outwardly narcissistic that it's never going to be internal collapse. It's always going to be them being inconsiderate. And that's kind of like a little bit what, like, to break out, or find yourself like a Massachusetts like chowderhead, like one of those thick boys that like looks like they do lobster collection or whatever, like just some meathead. Yeah, find somebody like that. And I sort of feel like if you dated enough people that weren't in this pattern, that eventually you would, whatever this subconscious thing is, it's attracting you to these like broken little birds of men, would start to slowly right itself.
Is that really what you think? Just like go crazy dating outside and then it'll slowly come. I mean, because that's interesting, because I have a friend I was just talking to today. Her type is totally different. It's all like, you know, super hot dudes with abs that treat her like shit. But she's on her like 12th one. And she's always like, oh, what am I doing? And she's gorgeous. And it's like, what am I doing wrong? What am I doing wrong? And it's like, obviously, like everyone looks the same. But like, what is, even though it's like a physical thing, it's like emotionally too, you can be drawn to the same thing over and over. And it's like, yeah. But I mean, I don't know what the answer is. Do you really think it is, Moshe, just date, like crazily date? Like, I wouldn't want to date a man who
a chowder
goes
man
fishing off of a pier for like his for fun.
Well, look, you're an artist. Well, Lauren, I'm curious what you think as well.
Well, yeah, I'm really curious if after this happens with was there one guy where you were like, did you keep dating much after this experience with these guys, or did it kind of fizzle out right after that?
Like, did I go on multiple
like after
dates
the
with any
panic
of them?
attack kind of thing, where you kind of like, let's keep going, or was it more like, eee?
Yeah, well, each of them, like, I've given them another chance just to be like, maybe it was just like first time jitters or whatever, but then it like happens again and then it fizzles out after that typically.
Yeah.
But I mean, one of them turned into a longer relationship where he kind of got over it, but then it like came up again. So
I feel like it feels like a red flag. So I understand like not wanting to keep going. And I think that's probably like in a good way. I think it might be a good thing, because I've definitely ignored red flags in different ways. And then you look back and you're like, oh yeah, that was fucking weird. And I feel like it's not to be dismissive of the fact that they're having an emotional issue, because that can be from so many different things. And I assume that what each of those guys is experiencing is not the same as what the other ones were experiencing. But I feel like if it's not easy from the beginning, it's probably not ever going to be easy or fun. And it's never going to feel like good. From what I understand about relationships. So I feel like you got maybe dating someone who is a totally different energy and trying to just like, if you like them, like if there's somebody where you're like, I have like a bit of a vibe with, going out with them for like a few weeks, like pushing it a little further than you might and just seeing where it goes, because I don't know, getting like burned like that over and over, that would be really disheartening.
But it's so hard, because imagine she's at the bar or wherever you go meet guys, you're at a show, you got a gig, and then you start talking to this like cute boy. It's like, that's your type. Like, how do you go against type? It's so hard.
See, this is where I think, you ready for the tough love, Emily? This is the reality is, in my opinion, like, yes, you like indie emo looking boys and skater boys, but in reality, most indie emo shoegazy skater boys don't have panic attacks in dating situations. So there's something.
Is that true?
Of course it's true. I mean, you think every skater does an ollie and starts crying the minute he ejaculates? Like, for sure, most of those guys are confident enough to not have a collapse every time they're in a romantic situation. So there's something about you, Emily, that when you're scanning a room, you're looking for the person that is broken. You don't know it. But
you think
at 6 times in, it's like, of course, like at 6 times in, it's like there's
like what about like having a friend set you up?
Ooh, I love that, Lauren.
Who's your type, who they know.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah,
awesome
I mean,
advice.
if they had any friends,
I mean, she lives in a small community, I think.
But they used to describe it
that's true.
They used to describe it in AA as having a broken picker. right? Like your picker is broken. Like you're honing
that's
in.
what my friends have said.
Yeah, you're like honing in on guys whose energy is saying like, like mama. That's kind of their energy, right? And you don't even know it. So so how do you break out of that pattern? Because you're right. Like dating, both of you are right. Like it's a red flag. You got to get out of it. It's not a good. But how do you take
How
a
do you
step?
do it?
How do you take a step back and stop the pattern from happening? And I think Lauren's suggestion of somehow breaking the cycle of how you're meeting these people is probably a really good start because you can reset kind of how you're picking.
Can I ask if like when you've had sex with these guys, had you hooked up not having sex leading up to that and it was like chill, or was it like you have sex kind of quickly in the situation?
Sex
She's
along
punk.
with everything else.
Lauren,
So,
she's a punk rocker.
Because I feel like what
She
about
doesn't
a slow
play by your
build? Wait,
rules.
what?
She doesn't play by your rules. She's punk rock. There's no chastity in punk.
She's not in the pirate storyteller improv group.
I know I'm just a little sweetie. But what about like taking it slow, because then you kind of see, and then they can kind of,
That's a good
build
idea.
the tension in a good way for themselves.
Exactly.
And be like, oh, it even making out with her was too crazy because I'm still in love with fucking whoever. I don't know.
I love that.
Because it's something you can control. That is one thing you can control is like not giving up your pussy.
And I'm not saying like waiting months and months. It's just like, going out a few times.
Right.
And
Before you undo the knee-high Doc Martens and rip open the rip stockings, you gotta. These are fun punk jokes.
From you also liked the stereotype of where she's from.
Yeah,
too.
I go to the lowest hanging fruit available. That's sort of my thing. I have a real question for you, Emily. Are you actually is this all coming like out of nowhere when these guys freak out? Are you like, until this moment, I could have sworn you were this super confident man that was going to just like ravage me and just be, or are you a little bit like, oh yeah, I could have seen this coming with these guys?
probably could have seen it coming.
So what is
But
it?
I think it is like I'm drawn to more like shy guys, I guess.
But again, Emily, most shy guys don't have panic attacks in bed. That just isn't.
I don't know. Shy guys, though, that's cute because I never really liked that type, but I could see that they would be kind of like emotional like that. You don't see that much? You're not a shy guy.
I think we're on to something with what Lauren's saying. I think that like having a lot more communication with these people in the very early stages of your dating to suss out whether or not these people are going to start weeping the moment that they ejaculate is like, that's the way out of the pattern.
Exactly. And it's like, even if it's not your style, like you have to do that for you, because it's like, he might not even be it. He could do something. Here's how one thing could go. You could meet a guy, fuck him that night, and then have this super like annoying thing, you feel all weird. Or what if you like go on 3 dates with him and by the third date, you're like, ugh, I cannot stand this person. Like, wouldn't you be?
Yeah, like, or he said something like so rude,
right?
Or like whatever. Like, I have a friend who's back in the dating scene, and she's like going on these dates, and I'm hearing about it, which I find fascinating because I haven't had that experience really, like dating around, and like it just hearing the fucking stuff that people say on a first like couple dates.
Tell us.
Like, there can be someone who seems like really cool, like you have a good time, or it's like really easy, and then they say something like, there was one guy who said something basically racist. Like, it's just like they're at dinner and he's like, it's actually not hard for Black people to get an opportunity, like saying something like, and she's like, yes, it just, and then she has to have a fight with this guy. And then it's like, okay, and then she's like, thank God I didn't have sex with that person and I don't have to see him ever again. And I don't want to ever talk to that person.
Thank God you don't have that exact interaction the moment after you guys are done having sex, because it is possible.
Right.
It's totally possible. Here's what I'm thinking, Emily.
That's true.
I'm having a thought. There are shy, artsy, emo men out. I don't mean to paint you as emo, but you know what I'm saying. There are men that are your type that are also confident and secure and super into you.
I don't know, Moshe.
And I do know. There's so many men in the world. And I know that there are men out there that are shy and artsy and just what you like, but are confident and aren't going to panic and conflate sex with some kind of trauma. And that's who you deserve. You deserve that guy. You don't deserve the guy that's like crying over his ex. Like there's something that keeps you going back to that guy, but there's like so many guys out there that are everything you want, but with the confidence that you deserve. That's what I think.
Yeah. Well, and I agree, but where are they?
Well, I think it's also important, maybe move out of that city that you're in. But, I think that if you're stuck on staying in a smaller community, you're going to have to make it work a little bit, right? It's a little more challenging. But I do think that figuring out what the non-negotiables are for you, like I don't think like is shy a non-negotiable? No. But like emotionally stable is. And so it's like really thinking out like what are the things that you like definitely need to have? What are things that would be nice? Artist, musician, skater, whatever those things are. But I do think that if you can really hone in on that and don't try to get so hung up on 6 people had like emotional breakdowns, but like emotionally stable, and then do what Lauren said, which is like kind of get to know them, to be like, just because of this past, it's not that you're a prude or anything, it's just like there's really no downside to waiting to have sex. Is there?
Yeah, you get really horny and you can explode. That can happen, and that has happened.
I mean, like maybe it's a little less exciting right off the bat if that's like what you typically find to be like a fun way to go out. But I feel like that would be safer just for your own experiences.
But I think my fear is always that like it's just going to prolong this bad thing from happening.
I mean,
like you're just like, oh, I'll have invested more time and then it happens again. Yeah,
exactly.
Even still, like we're talking about like going on a couple dates or something, or like hanging out a couple times. Like it doesn't have to be anything super serious, but just getting that feeling, and maybe that would even be making it more comfortable for them too, where they start to feel more at ease. Like the pressure isn't on in that same way of like, oh, I got to be, good at sex tonight right now.
but
I think that's a good idea. And
I'm coming back to my main thought here, and we should let you go because I know it's late. But
I have a thought.
But and because I think that Natasha and Lauren are right, like breaking this pattern and finding these like sort of, these are almost like cognitive behavioral ways of changing your pattern. Like, okay, what I usually do is we go to a bar, we get drunk, we sleep together, and then I figure out who they are. But okay, so if I want to figure out who they are before I sleep with them, maybe I wait a little bit, not even on a like, this is the morally right thing to do, but actually this is the most practically wise thing for me to do. But what's up?
Go ahead.
The other thing that is, just keeps coming up for me is the thing that these 6 men have in common is not that they're emo, or that they're artists. It's that they dated you, and so you're the center of this thing. You're the person that is. You are, and I don't mean to be harsh here, you are actually the person that is setting this cycle in motion, not them. They're just individual, like basket cases having, panic attacks after the sex. But you're the one that's like luring you've got like a little fishing line out to like any damaged boys out there, come this way. So like also while you start doing these practical solutions of like dating, waiting a little bit, getting to know them, blah, blah, blah. Also really doing some work on yourself to figure out like, why is it that I think that I deserve to date guys who are like this? What is it about me? And how can I change that pattern? You change yourself, they say it's an inside job. You change yourself, you find that the world changes around you.
And I would add to that, it's maybe not about changing yourself as much as like imagining yourself in a healthy, fulfilling relationship, and what does that look like to you? And I think that like you kind of have this negative attitude, which is very easy to have, which I have about so many things, which is like, oh, well then I'll just wait to have sex and then it'll be the same thing, and it's just kind of like the same thing over and over. And it's like, it's very hard to break out of a cycle, like a thought cycle like that. But you know what? You deserve it. You know how to hang a picture. That's so cool. You hung your picture on that corner like that. Like you're cool. Like, it's like, think of the people.
The kitty corner.
Think of the people who are in healthy relationships. And so it's like sometimes good if you can see those modeled. I don't know how many healthy relationships you've seen modeled, but like even if it's a friend or someone, maybe it's Harry and Meghan. I don't know.
Yeah,
I mean,
what they've got going on. Honestly, model your life a little bit more after the ex-royals.
I don't know. I don't know what people model their. I mean, because I never had a healthy relationship modeler, but I think you just need to be able to see yourself there. And I think that it's like, yeah, like what you're saying, Moshe, it's not necessarily them.
Lauren, closing thoughts?
I would say don't assume this is going to happen to you ever again.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Like this probably won't happen to you again. And if you try to let that go, no, really, because it's random actually. Like it has happened, but like it doesn't have to happen again. And maybe if you try to move on from that in your head, that would also stop it from happening again, because you're not going to bring the energy of like, oh, what's he going to do now? You know, like something like maybe there's some tension happening because like you're expecting something. So if you just kind of go, that is completely random. This person doesn't know those people. There's no reason for this to happen again. Like maybe it can clear the air on that.
That's great, Lauren. There's this statistics experiment that people do in like statistics classrooms, which is that they'll give the pairs of students a coin, and they'll say to the pairs of students, flip the coin 30 times, write down the results, and tell us what the results are. And then one of the teams will be told to make up the results, right? And the way like to do fake results. And the way that, and they can, it's like a game that these statistics teachers play, because they can always tell who is the faker, because the faker, it's too random. It's just like heads, tails, heads, tails, heads, tails. The real ones always have bizarre patterns of sameness, of like heads, 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 heads. And because in reality, statistically, you have the same amount of possibility of having like a crazy pattern as of having random results to a coin toss. So in reality, Lauren might be right. It might just be that this happened to you the last 6 guys you dated, and it's totally random, because every guy you date, there's a new possibility that they're going to be a fucking weirdo. And not that people with panic attacks are fucking weirdos, but so it's like she's right also. Don't get locked into this pattern of now thinking it will happen to me. I think that's really wise, Lauren.
Thank you.
All right. Well, good luck, Emily.
Yeah.
Hopefully that was useful.
So
good
that
night.
Good luck.
Yeah. Thank you.
It's going to go better.
Hope so. Thank you.
Okay. Bye. Oh my God. I just had a thought of me with a boyfriend having a panic attack. I would be so bad. I would just be like...
The least compassionate.
Totally. I would just be like, please, you're getting snot on my sheets. Like, please stop.
I remember once I was in Aspen performing comedy, and I started to hyperventilate. Like I lost oxygen. I was like literally, they say like they have oxygen off stage in Aspen actually, in case you have an oxygen event. And I did. I couldn't finish. I'm a fast talker on stage always. I couldn't get through my joke, and I was about to pass out. And the person that was hosting, it was a show where somebody was on stage live with you, like sort of riffing with you, with your stand-up. And it was Michael Ian Black. And I was like, this is the worst person on earth to like have a like physical like ailment and look over and like Michael Ian Black is like, just all he wants to do is make fun of you. That would be like you with a panic attack lover.
Yeah, he's not going to help.
Yeah, that would not be good. Well, I hope she can break out of it.
I know. She definitely didn't have the vibe at the end of the call like, that was awesome, guys. Thanks.
No, she was like, it's going to happen again. Bye.
Thanks for telling me I'm the center of the pattern. And yeah, that's cool. Yeah.
She's not, though. I mean, she's just like, I get it. I like those kind of boys, too. But honestly, the real practical stuff is like just date a different type of guy. You just have to make yourself like
the thing is,
and also she might be being too sweet to them and too mothering.
No, that's what
I forgot to tell her. Don't be so mothering to these guys, because I'm like that too. And then you might be like, maybe be a little more like ditzy.
But like, ditzy?
Yeah, because you want a guy who's like, no, check it out. You want a guy who's like dominant. So you're like, and you just act all like.
It's terrible advice, Natasha. Just act a little dumber.
Just change your personality.
I'm just saying to shake it up a bit.
No, but you're on to something. That I think that person is looking for people to heal. And like when you try, probably subconsciously, when you're looking for people to heal, you're going to get people that aren't healed and they're sick. I mean, that's how that works.
Well, she really needs to not date a person who just came out of a long relationship next.
Yeah.
It needs to be, but it also, I would say, it doesn't sound like she's dating any of them. It sounds like she meets them one time and then they have sex and the person's like, I haven't fucked anyone in a long time. And then they have like a whole thing. And then it's like too much.
Oh my God. That would be so annoying. Like you're already on the fence about fucking this guy. And then he's just like telling you that. And then he's smoking in your house.
It's annoying. It's hard too, because it almost implies that they're taking it like so seriously.
Right.
And she's trying to just like hook up and he's like, this actually means a lot. And it's like way too much. Like
Well, the easy way to understand that her pattern is to take the panic attack makes you have so much empathy for these men that it's hard to see it.
Yeah.
So if you took out the panic attack and you just put in your example, like someone saying something incredibly racist, right? It's like six guys in a row I've gone out with that have dropped something really racist and it's like, oh, okay, you seem to be attracting racists. Like perhaps the problem lies with your picker. Anyway.
I know, but it's so hard to say it's you.
I know.
Because it's such a weird thing that's happening.
Totally. I did. And I hope I definitely wasn't trying to imply like you're to blame. It's more like there's something about the energy of these boys that is making you go, oh, come here. It has to be. Or am I wrong? Maybe I'm off. Maybe I'm off base with that. Do you think I'm off base with that?
I think it could just be the community or like the type of people. I don't know anything about dating musicians or anything, but like the type of people that she is attracted to, specifically their level of like emotionality or something. But I think you can't say it's her doing it, because it's like, it's still them at the end of the day. You know what I mean? Like, it's still like the guy is just having this experience. But I feel like a panic attack is so much more random than saying something racist, which is like, you know, I mean, that's a totally different thing in my mind, that like, this is an emotional, physical reaction to something that's happening. So that just seems random to me. It seems like it's like not something she's doing. I mean, you know, there's also like the question of like, how are these interactions going down? I mean, maybe there's something uncomfortable about how that's happening or something. I don't know.
Ooh, I hope I wasn't accidentally a jerk to that person.
No, you weren't.
No. I think my assumption was that she called in thinking that that's what it was. And then you're saying that and she's going, yeah. I mean, I don't think she was offended by that. I think that was her thought.
Oh, I wasn't a jerk. I was being a fucking idiot. That's what. You know what? I'm having a bit of a panic attack right now. Honestly, this isn't going my way.
You know what? Life is a dream. Just keep picking new people and hopefully you'll get there.
That's what I think. I think it's random. It's random.
All right.
I don't think you were wrong to say that, Moshe, though. I feel like that's definitely a perspective.
I think it sounds like a perspective that you don't respect at all. And no, I'm joking. No, but I'm
saying I don't want her to feel like.
No, I think you're right. Actually,
she's wrong.
Hearing you say it, like, I think you're right. It can be overly prescriptive to say. I honestly. To get vulnerable, I'm so trained by like my AA upbringing to be like, the problem is within, and look within and you'll find the solution. But I think that, like, I honestly think that the actual answer probably, if I'm guessing, lies somewhere in the middle of both things. Like what you and Natasha were describing was a pattern breaking new behavior. Whether or not it's random, try something new and the randomness will probably get shaken up as well.
And you know what else was interesting about this girl was she really looking for a serious relationship? It wasn't clear. I mean, maybe...
I guess you don't understand punk.
I mean, maybe these like... Well, yeah, she's trying to just get some dick.
I don't know.
And they're all crying.
But I think the AA perspective, though, is really helpful, though. Like when you were saying, like, it could be something within you, like you can control yourself. And I think that's helpful, rather than, you know, you don't know what's going to happen with this next guy, but you can control how you react or what you bring to the situation.
Totally. I think that is actually its power. Is like the solution is always at your fingertips. It's never hoping something in the external universe is going to change for you. All right. Shall we move on to, what do you want to do? Another call? You want to do some secrets? What do you think?
What do you think, Laura?
I feel like I need to talk to somebody else.
Okay, let's do it.
Did we, was that rude to her? We weren't rude to her, were we?
No. I didn't think so.
Okay, good.
I think what my takeaway from that was that she felt kind of like there was nothing we could say to make her think that it wasn't.
Well, that's true. And also she called in to make a schedule to do this call. I mean, not that people really call this hotline to really get to their psychological core. I mean, they're trying to have something fun. But she also spent the whole day doing data crunching on her own. So by the end of the day, like she knew the call was coming, so she got out like the yellow pad and was like, and by the time we called, it was like midnight there. She's like, listen, I'll tell you what's happening, but I 100% know every detail and know what's going on. So really, what can we say?
Right, it got worse because she was like really looking up on it.
All right, let's do one more call.
Okay, we're going to call Nathan in Madison, Wisconsin.
This guy doesn't sound deep. He probably just has a surface level problem, and it's going to be awesome. We'll make fun of him. It'll be a great call.
This is also 45 minutes from my hometown. Where are you from, Lauren?
Evanston, Illinois.
Oh, so you're from around here too.
There.
Madison's right next.
Yeah.
Nathan.
Hey, Nathan.
Ooh.
You're tuned into
Hello.
Midwest Talk, Nathan. Thanks for joining us.
Oh, I am.
It's Natasha.
We're talking about Illinois.
Natasha and Moshe and our friend Lauren Lapkus from Evanston.
Hello.
Hi. What's happening? How can we help? Or can we?
I'm hoping you can help.
Let's hear it.
So I'll give you the lowdown. Basically, a friend of mine, roommate also, he is dating this girl. We're going to go with fake names here in case they listen. So my roommate's Kevin. He's got a girlfriend, Steph. So Steph is in medical school.
Okay.
And she's got a friend, Dana. And so this is who we're going to be talking
Okay. I like that you also did prep.
Well, I like that he's like referencing it. He's
I know.
like got it written down over here.
Our last caller did prep as well.
I do have it written down.
Yeah, I like you got Dana. Okay, so
The
Dana.
pressure of keeping the name straight, you got to write that down.
Do you have a little caricatures of them like drawn and stuck up on your laptop?
No. I don't have that.
So the roommate, Dana's in Steph's in medical school, the roommate's girlfriend.
Yep.
And then who's Dana?
Steph's friend.
She's also in medical
Oh, okay,
school.
okay.
She's a friend of Steph.
And you want to fuck Dana.
Yeah, okay.
I think we
So-
all know that. Go ahead.
Yes. All right. So
Figure that out.
It was obvious, Lauren. We've been doing this a while. So I guess my question is, how do you get that doctor ass? Go ahead.
okay, all right. So I was introduced to her like in the middle of December, like around the 15th, 16th. And so we hung out in a group setting with them and a couple other friends. Seemed to get along pretty well. That was like the first introduction. Like a week or so later, hang out in a group setting again. I'm like, okay, things are going well. We're talking, we're vibing a little bit. I like this. Then New Year's Eve comes around. Okay, she comes over. We have a couple friends over for New Year's Eve. We're hanging out. We're really starting to hit it off, I think. So the day after New Year's Day, I'm like, all right, I need her number. Talk to Kevin. I'm like, hey, you got to give me your number. So he gives me her number. We start texting. We're hitting it off. We're doing well. And then like 2 days later, all of a sudden she's like, I'm like, hey, you got any time free? I'd love to spend some time with you, get to know you better. She's like, yeah, you can come over tonight at like 7:00. I'm like, perfect, I'll do that. So then I go over to her place, you know, this is cliche, but she's like, you want to just watch some Netflix? And I was like, yeah, let's do that. So we watched the Bo Burnham special Inside, because that's like her favorite special.
She watched it again with you, with hot Bo
Yeah, she watched it
in
a
his
second
like
time.
underwear. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's a funny thing.
When he's like
Yeah, so
screaming
then-
about being depressed, I wouldn't say it was like hot.
Natasha too has a type, Lauren. She related to Emily a little bit more than we realized. All right, go ahead.
Okay, so she invites you over to watch Bo Burnham's
Okay.
special, her favorite special.
Yeah, burn them and chill.
Yeah. Yeah. So we're doing that. Everything's going well. It finishes up. We're just like hanging out on the couch, and she's like, you want to move it to my bedroom? I'm like,
Okay.
of course I
Oh,
do.
great.
Let's do that. So we get there.
And you're not kissing
we're
yet on the
fooling around.
couch, or you are?
No, not yet.
Okay.
Okay. She's like, speaking of
That was when we
inside,
got in the bedroom.
would you like to be inside of me? Let's move it in this direction. Okay, so there you are.
Yes, exactly. Yep. So we get to the bed, then almost immediately start making out. We're doing all sorts of stuff, right?
Oh, yeah.
One thing leads to another, yada, yada, yada. It's all of a sudden 4 a.m. I got to be to work at 7 in the morning.
Mhm.
Okay. So I try to go to sleep, don't really sleep, drive to work. Anyway, I go to work the next day, and then I'm like, oh, this is so crazy, like that this all happened so fast. And so I'm texting her, trying to like gauge where we're at, if this is going to be like a hookup thing, if this is going to be like possibly a date thing. And so that's kind of where I'm at right now. I'm in like a limbo situation where I'm not sure what's going on here between us. And I've gotten some positive feedback in text. And so I'm just trying to see if
Did this just
you
happen?
can tell me or help me if
How many days ago are we talking?
go ahead.
How many days?
Let's see. This all happened maybe like 20 days ago.
Have you guys hung out at all since then?
We have not.
But she texts you.
Yes. And the reason is because she's in medical school and there's a big exam coming up.
Okay.
And she wants to focus on that.
Have you read that book? Or have you heard of that book, She's Just Not That Into You? I'm just kidding.
You broke it. It broke up right when you said it.
Well, it was a reference from a 25-year-old book. But wait, okay. So, Nathan, you don't know if you're in a hookup situation or more than that situation because you want more and you're not sure if she wants to give it to you?
He made out with her and then he hasn't seen her for 20 days.
No, I know. I'm just saying.
And she's blaming it on her schoolwork.
Right. Is that?
It's a tough one because it does feel like an excuse. But do you have any connection? I mean, it sounded like the night went really well. So it's like hard. That's a tough, confusing one. But like, so you're friends with, or your roommate's girlfriend is her friend?
Yes.
So is there any intel coming in from that? Like,
right, like is the roommate's girlfriend like she's like we don't have any tests coming up.
We're not in medical school. Who said anything about medical school?
No, that's real. The test is real.
Of course. And I'm just being harsh to be funny, but like, it's like
it's tough. No, it's really tough because it sounds like a line. But then I also think, well, I don't know. Medical school is really hard. And like, if you start dating someone and then you like fuck up this whole pattern you have going on because you're so distracted, that could be hard. But it's tough as an outsider hearing it because you think, well, that just sounds like something someone says.
But as in the category of just something someone says, blow off excuses, medical school test is a pretty good one. But it's not 20 days.
It's a good one, and she's still texting though.
Right.
So what are these?
She's still texting. It's like she could have just stopped texting.
Yeah.
Like,
what are these texts like?
She could have written back, "The doctor is out."
What's the most promising text she's sent?
Okay. So let's see. I've got one right here. So this was like a couple days after the night. She says, let me see. Right here. She says, "You please don't worry. You did everything right, and I would consider myself understanding in this regard." About like that's in reference to if it was a hookup thing or whatever. And then also she sent me. This is a pretty recent one. The exam is on the 11th of February. She's like, "I just want to focus on being friends until after the test on the 11th. Then we can work on stuff more."
Okay, Nathan.
I like that.
You lost me at regard. The regard.
She's sophisticated.
it sounds very serious.
Yeah, the regard is not playful. It's not flirty. It's clinical. It's actually medical
She's
in a way.
She's a doctor.
No. This is Nathan. I think this is.
But here's the thing, Moshe. I'm like, what kind of confuses me, and I see where you're confused. If someone gives me a date where it will be okay to date them,
right. You're right.
I'm like gonna go. I guess February 12th, we're good. Like, and that's right before Valentine's Day, which really is saying something. I mean, I don't know. It's that feels she's not good at ghosting if she's trying to do that.
Mm-hmm.
Right? She's bad at ghosting.
I got suggestion, a straight up suggestion. I mean, this is to me a very easy one, and it's like it honestly a little bit sounds like you've already gotten your answer, but it's not because she hooked up with you. You're spinning, and she's awesome, and you want more. And
it went well.
And it went well.
They were already vibing before that.
Totally.
So it's like this wasn't just like a hookup, right? It was like a culmination of like
totally.
They hung out 4 times and then
So I think this one calls for like, I would say surgical precision. No pun intended, right? It just calls for like a full and direct, here's where I'm at. And she's told you, to Lauren's point, the date in which she will be able to tell you a clear answer, right? Maybe she's bullshitting and she's pushing the ball down the line on having to tell you that. But this is good. You can just, the next time you text her, you just say, you know what? I totally hear you. I respect where you're coming from on your test is overwhelming you. I'm going to hit you up on February 12th. I'm interested in you and I want to keep seeing you. I'm going to hit you up on February 12th. You can think about it until then. And on February 12th, I'm going to hit you up. And if at that point you decide you just want to be friends, let me know. That's cool. And if you want to be more than friends, that I'm here for that. And then text her on February 12th. It's just like, and say it.
Yeah, I mean, I kind of think that works because it's also not that long to wait. It's like 2 weeks. And so you just kind of, I mean, I don't think you should necessarily, what I feel like is like, don't cut off the texting relationship by being like, I won't text you until, because I think it might be nice to have like the still kind of communication until then. But like, we don't have to, you could say, we don't have to touch that element of, we don't have to like decide anything about our relationship until after you're done. That totally makes sense. Like, because if you could still be friends, which could be great. I mean, so it would be nice to not.
Nobody wants.
You know what I mean?
You don't want to be friends with her, right?
Wait,
That's
hold
so
on.
Distracting.
Counterpoint.
You already
Counterpoint. It's really
licked her
useful.
pussy. Like you don't want to be friends.
It's actually.
Oh my God.
Natasha goes there, Lauren. She goes there. That's what she does. And actually, Nathan doesn't go there. I hate to break it to you. He didn't do that.
He said Natasha's right, though.
Okay, there we go.
No,
Player went down.
my friend just got broken up with, and they were like, "Oh, I hope we can become great friends." And it's like they don't want to become friends. Like she's in love with you,
No, it's true. I'm not friends with anyone I've ever kissed.
Well, hold on. Just counterpoint to both of you. It's very useful to have a doctor friend in your life. Okay, I have somebody in my life that is a pediatrician, and it's very useful. So maybe don't cut it all the way off. If she's like, I just want to be friends, maybe really cultivate that friendship so that you can ask her for medical advice for years to come.
Ooh, I have an important question.
Yeah.
Oh, good.
Okay, Nathan, who is it? Would you say it's 50-50 on who like starts the texts or who initiates the texts?
That is a great question.
Mm-hmm.
No, I would say it's mostly me.
Okay. So what I would do then is if you're going to, personally, if I were you, I would just step back till the 12th. I wouldn't like say, I'm going to know. That's what I would do. And then I would step back to the 12th. And then like, of course, if she emails you or texts you, be very encouraging and be very kind and really supportive of her journey. But like, if I were like, because I have been in places before where I'm just like, please just leave me alone like a man. And I'm like, I just need to focus on this thing. Like, I just need to do my thing. It's the only way I can do it is if I'm alone. Like, I get that, and it's like, and if there was a guy who I was like kind of interested in and he just like ignored me, that would probably like make me still like feel like, oh, okay,
That's such a good point.
that's that. But I also, but that might not be good because then you get in relationships with people you don't like that much because they ignored you.
Hold on.
No, but I feel like she already knows he's interested.
That's true.
Like it's like and she already knows you're a nice guy. Like you already have had like good interactions and stuff. And you've been very, very polite, it sounds like, with approaching this whole thing. So I think that's safe to say like to just kind of pull back a little bit or don't hit her up every time you think of her.
Mm.
And then at February 12th, kind of see what's
And try to be funny about it too. You know what I mean? Like February 12th, like, I don't know, maybe you could do some kind of funny thing. And, she's got a lot of excuses to say no. Her best friend is dating your roommate. And, it's like there's a lot of entanglement. So who knows if it's going to work. But you don't want to like overpower her.
I'm going to jump in. I'm with you. I'm modifying my original advice. I think don't do the text now, being clear. Just take a step back, like everybody's saying, because she is actually, and I don't mean to be harsh, because I'm sure she's awesome, but she is kind of giving you a bunch of signals that she's not that interested. And it might be a pleasant surprise after February 11th that she is, but to prepare yourself, like it seems like she's kind of saying in different ways, like, I don't have time for this. But I'm going to say, don't do the text now. Do wait till February 12th, but do not, under any circumstances, write her on February 12th. Because that means that you had a big like advent calendar with her test at the end of it, and you're like, you know what I mean? You're like looking every single day, and then
he had a chocolate every day.
But here's the problem, Nathan. You got some scheduling issues. Don't wait till February 12th. But you also can't wait for 2 more days because you cannot hit her up on February 14th and be like, hey, what's up? I'm just thinking about it. So you're going to have to wait till at least February 20th. That is my advice. February 20th, you can hit her up.
Well, no, you have to hope that she reaches out before you have to reach out. Whatever she's going to say, it probably is the ball's in her court on that level because she has said, I'm busy until this date. Then we can figure it out. She knows the date's there.
Yeah.
And I have one more assignment for you, Kevin, if you can handle it.
Nathan. But hey, it's not his real name anyway, so who cares?
Listen here, Kevin.
Kevin's the roommate. Nathan.
Try to go on a date before the February 12th.
Oh, fascinating advice. Wow. Did not see that coming.
This may sound mean, but I've actually done that.
Okay, there you go. That's not mean.
Why is that mean?
Well, she was a vet.
I don't know.
Because he's into this girl. He's so polite.
Right.
He's very considerate.
Yeah.
Well, then go on another one.
Nice, I think that.
That's my advice.
That's good, though. That's good.
My advice, February 20th, you hit her up. If she hasn't hit you up, you say, hey, just thinking about you. Hope the test went well. I just want you to know if you'd ever like to go out again, I'm here for it. If not, I think I wish you the best. So simple.
That's a perfect text. You should write that down.
Well, it's on podcast. You can just re-listen to this.
Yeah, but then it's like,
I will be re-listening.
What happens though when she comes over with her friend?
It's all good because then at that point he's so Joe Cool that he can see her and just be like, hey, what's up, Dana? Damn, nice to see you. I hope that test went well. I'm gonna go. I'm going with this nurse practitioner that I met. Bye. It's all good. You don't have to feel awkward. I don't think you need to feel. I mean, it is an awkward situation to have someone that you want more from that doesn't want more from you. We've all been in that situation, but that awkwardness fades over time, and then you get over it. And sounds
then
like
you're like, did I even want that?
Right.
You don't want to date a doctor.
And then there's a chance that she comes back around and she actually would be down.
Yep.
So there's always that hope too,
Yeah.
But I think Moshe is totally right that like playing it really cool with your text and feeling that way inside as much as you can. Like it's totally fine, whatever happens either way, but I'm interested in you and whatever. And then if it doesn't work out, you will see her again because you have mutual friends and it won't be as weird as it would be if you just either let it peter out to the point where it's like, no one ever said anything, or like you're too forward and she's like, I doesn't want to see you.
Another possible idea is to show up to her medical school on February 14th with a bouquet of scalpels and just be like, for you, and see if it's true love.
I'm gonna go buy some scalpels then.
Yeah. Well, with that background, your background's a little dextery. So
I'm in my kitchen. We have a small park.
All right, you're good. Nathan.
But you seem so cute and fun and, try to try to be funny about it if you can, like anything inside joke or tell her you want to watch Bo's special again or I don't know, but I think less is more is your new mantra.
Yeah, you could text her, you not texting me back makes me feel the way Bo Burnham felt throughout the special inside.
See, you think that's funny, but I know so many friends who they
say
stuff like that in relationships.
Right.
They're like, "What? That really made me feel bad when you didn't text me back. I really want more than that. I'm sorry for myself. I can't text you anymore." It's like a lot of people will do stuff like that in date 3, and I'm like, "Huh?" And they're like, "I can't lie."
Right.
I don't know.
I know. Sometimes that's too much. It's like, why don't you just say you're busy?
It's
you know
heavy. Yeah.
It is.
Busy will do.
But I mean, I do envy it in some ways because I never say what I mean in relationships at the beginning because I'm always like, I have this like coyness that has been infused in me from how I grew up, kind of maybe old fashioned or something. So I'm always kind of playing coy, and I don't think that's like a good thing. It's just my instinct.
Yeah, but I think as women, that's so built in because there's like this fear of like, if you tell some guy like, I don't want to go out with you, and they're like, I'm gonna fucking kill you. You know what I mean?
Right.
People are so creepy. And
Right.
What'd you say to me? What'd you say to me, you little bitch? Yeah, you never know what's gonna happen. But
or they get mean,
Yeah.
like they're like, well, I didn't like you anyway, you nasty little slut.
yeah. So
Well, guys have it hard too, like, sometimes the guys have it hard. can be
I
hard.
like that she's waiting out for that Bo Burnham dick. She's just kind of
Well,
like,
don't do that to Nathan. He's still on the line. I think you're right. There's a sweet spot between saying too much and not saying enough. There's a
Exactly.
sweet spot of being direct,
Yeah.
but without being emotional about it. It's just like, here's what I want. Here's what I'm interested
because
in.
that's sexy if you're direct and not emotional.
That's how I got you.
Is that really true?
Well, that is who I am. Is like I always was like, I'm not going to not say the thing I'm thinking, but I also wasn't like panicking, like come to me. It just isn't neither thirsty nor inconsiderate are good, I think.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, all right. Nathan,
All right. Well, good luck, Nathan.
hit us up on February 20th. Tell us what happened, will you?
All right, I will.
Yeah, keep us in the
February
loop.
20th.
We want to know. All right. Good luck.
All right,
Good luck.
thanks. Bye.
See, I would have told him to text on the day, but you're right. If I was the girl,
yeah.
that would have creeped me out.
Bad signal. He can't text on February 12th, and he also can't text on February 15th either. He can't do it on the 14th, but he can't do it on the 15th
Why?
either, because then she's like, oh, he waited one day after Valentine's to do it. He's just got to give himself a little bit of a buffer.
And Natasha, I feel like texting on the date is like, if you're a comedian, you can do that. Do you know what I mean?
Right.
Like
Bits.
you get that, like you're being funny. You're being like, oh, the date came around.
Yeah.
Let me see. There's like a
Yes.
humor to that.
Comics do have a weird superpower in that way.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I think we might have helped him a little bit. I feel like we influenced him.
He felt like he received
so.
more from us than Emily.
Well, I really think he needs to go back and write down the exact text you said to send, because I thought that was really perfectly phrased.
Well, thank you. I mean, I think it's honestly from the experience of being a man in the world, like, how do you say a thing? And yeah,
But you're not naturally emotional.
But that wasn't an emotional text.
No, I know, but I'm saying, what if your
Your
go-to
instinct.
and your instincts are like really emotional, and
Then you find a really cool friend with a podcast to tell you what to text.
What girl would like an emotional guy?
Emily, we met her earlier tonight.
Right. I mean, probably a lot of people do. A lot of men do. A lot of women do.
Well, there's a thing about extreme.
Oh yeah, I mean,
Go ahead, Lauren.
no, I think people find that kind of thing really refreshing sometimes, because people especially it sounds like when people are dating, they're just ghosting people all the time and just like being super vague and like. So I think it's when you get someone who's like telling you what they really feel, like what you're saying, Moshe, that you did. I think that's like so appealing, because it's like, oh, he's being like really straightforward and it's not scary. It's just like he's saying what he really thinks.
I feel like when guys start to get emotional, I would be like how I am with my daughter at the playground. I'm like, okay, I'm going to set a clock for 3 minutes. And at 3 minutes, you got to go. 3 minutes. All right. I'm going to set a clock.
February 11th.
And when the timer goes off, you have to stop crying.
Yeah, I mean, emotional in that sense, I think is different than what I was thinking. More like like in touch with your emotions, where like you know what you want. But like someone who's all over the place like that, I don't think I can really.
But some people like that too, Some people really like that, like the relationship that's all about talking about the relationship. That's my biggest advice to people when they're telling me too much. Is like, your relationship isn't supposed to be primarily you processing whether or not your relationship will work. It's supposed to be you just hanging out in the relationship and having a good time most of the time.
Yeah, I mean, that's a really good point, because I think people can stay in things for a long time where they're like analyzing it all the time. And it's like, if it's not feeling good and it's not fun, just like obviously, then it's probably not going to be the answer.
It's supposed to be fun. That's what I always say. It's supposed to be fun. Tasha, I have a lot of fun with you.
Thanks. I have a lot of fun with you too.
Don't be coy. Please don't be coy. Don't use your patented coyness to tell me how much fun I am.
Wait, Lauren, I cannot get over your door. It's a curved door behind you.
Yeah.
Whoa, that is cool. Oh,
How many of those are in your house?
Thanks. A couple.
I love them.
Yeah.
Do they get incrementally smaller until a little creature comes out of the smallest
Yeah,
one?
and then I like eat these like mushrooms and I shrink down to go into each one.
That's very cool.
Love it.
Wow, that's weird, because that's
love that.
that's the plot of the poster you have behind you. That's a plot of Infinite Jest, I think. Guys.
Yeah, I'm not familiar really. That was a gift. But yeah.
Lauren, you were awesome. We enjoyed
I feel
having
like you
you.
really
So
gave great advice.
yeah, I think so too.
I hope so. Oh my God. It's nerve wracking when you're looking at someone on Zoom and they need something.
I can't believe
my
people
God.
zoom in.
I don't know how you guys do it.
Listen,
Just like, why? He's got all these fake names, but his face is on Zoom. I mean,
Well, that's what I wonder about your callers, because they'll make up a fake thing. And I'm like, if I heard
I know.
my friend, I'm going to know it's my friend.
I never understand why they have these like
hey,
weird.
there's a lot of podcasts, so not everyone's listening.
I love when on our secrets hotline when people will call and they have this like actually bad secret, but they've got a like very distinct accent. They're like, so hopefully this doesn't come out. I come from a small town in North Texas. I did take human life a time or two. It's just like, we know it's you. Like, for sure, you're getting caught.
Can we listen to one?
Hell yeah,
secret?
we can.
Like,
Yeah.
Wait, we can do
part.
secrets. I just didn't know if you only had an
No,
hour.
yeah, well, you've been on. We just don't want to take up too much of your
Can we
time.
listen to? Yeah, well, can we do like 3? Is that okay?
Let's do 3. We could do 3. It's totally fine.
Hey guys, I have a secret. I'm married and I've been married for almost 3 years and we have a child and I'm currently pregnant now. And my secret is that my husband is extremely religious. Whenever we started dating, I kind of lied about how religious I was because I thought he was really cute and didn't want to say anything that would make him not go out with me. But now that we've been married this long, I still have to act like I believe in God. And if I were to tell him that I didn't, God, it would shatter. I mean, it could break us up. It would shatter everything that he thinks about me, and he would think that I was going to hell. So that's my secret. Maybe it's fucked up that he doesn't know, but at this point I don't know how to tell him that without ruining our marriage and what we have. But I also feel like I'm kind of living in a lie. Anyways, that's my secret. Love the show. Bye.
Wow.
I'm living a lie.
Bye. Everything that I am is in fact a facade and a performance. Okay, bye. Love the pod. I mean, wow, she didn't just lie. She's like, I did kind of lie about how religious I was. You are an atheist. You didn't lie about how religious you
also,
are.
what are they going to teach the kids?
Oh, she's clearly going to default to him.
That's so hard.
I mean, this is why you have to have a checklist of actual compatibility, like real compatibility. Like things that you can't. Oh,
yeah, that's dangerous.
Super dangerous.
That is very odd. But she also kind of seems kind of freewheeling, and she doesn't really care that her kids are going to grow up with Jesus. So, I mean, whatever. Maybe.
What do you think she should do, Lauren?
I mean, I think she needs to just keep living a lie and just act
forever.
Like it's fine. No, I mean, that sounds horrible. That sounds horrible to me. I think like anytime you feel like something's totally wrong, it probably is. But if you're pregnant and married to somebody and that's the situation, you can't really just bail. I mean, she seems like she likes him. So
here's what you do. You start, so you're already living in a performative lie. You start seeding in a constructed crisis of faith. You start now, you go, the pastor said something this week that and then slowly it becomes bigger and bigger. And you're like, I just don't believe anymore. So that he doesn't think he's been tricked and maybe he'll stick around.
That is so funny to be in a relationship with someone who's like, yeah, I believe in Jesus.
Oh, that's crazy. It's hard out there.
I'm sure so many people are
Really?
doing that. Don't you?
Hard to
I mean,
find
they
someone.
must be. I mean, I don't know how cute he is.
All right. Shall we do one more? Let's do another.
I didn't realize it was 10:30.
I know. Lauren, you've been a saint.
Hey, Moshe. Hey, Natasha. So a few months ago, I just stopped washing most of my produce, with like the exception of, like root vegetables and grapes, stuff that like has dirt that you can actually see on it, But over the holidays, I told my family this, just kind of thinking that they would agree, like it's a waste of time, it's a waste of water, like really, what are you getting out of rinsing your vegetables, Well, they like really made fun of me for it and kind of shamed me, and they were like, that's so gross, you're going to get sick, blah, blah, blah. So I was like, you're so right, I'm going to start washing my produce again. But my secret is that I actually didn't start doing that again, I fully don't wash my produce. So yeah, now my family thinks that all my produce is washed, but it's totally not. Thanks for listening to my secret. Bye.
Does this woman think grapes grow underground? She's like, all of my root vegetables and grapes, the things that are covered in dirt. That's what I'm still washing.
Well, because like grapes always are dirty when you get them
I guess
from the
that's
store.
true.
It's like you should wash them because, like, when you wash grapes and then there's like that dirt water in the bottom, like it's fucking gross.
Didn't Chipotle like have to close down because like people in the fields were shitting in the fields, and then when the produce was, they didn't give the people who were working in the fields bathroom breaks.
That's why?
And then they would just shit on the produce. That's what I heard.
No way that's true.
And
my
then the shit
God.
vegetables would get into the burritos, and then everyone was getting sick. Anyway, I don't know, but just wash your vegetables.
Oh my God.
And then the other thing my friend told me, who is she's, very into gardening, and she told me that you don't have to buy organic. This is kind of separate, but I didn't realize that. Like, you don't have to buy organic bananas because bananas have like the thick skin. But like something like blackberries, you want to buy organic because you're like putting that exactly into your mouth. But anything with like a protective cover, maybe you don't have to buy organic. It's avocado, don't have to buy organic. But blackberries, strawberries, that kind of thing.
Okay.
I don't know.
You tuned into produce talk.
You should still wash your vegetables.
I think that's a good idea. But I don't always wash vegetables.
It doesn't take that long.
Washing lettuce sucks.
Like, it feels like she's like, I know, like she thinks she's saving a lot of time or something, but it's like, it's a 30 seconds.
She's
You
like,
just go like
the
this.
environment, we're bordering on an environmental collapse. I can't wash my vegetables.
But I do need to wash these grapes because I don't want that dirty grape water. All right, last one. Last one. Here we go. Lauren, thank you. Lauren Lapkus, ladies and gentlemen. Okay.
Hey, Moshe and Natasha, longtime listener, and I just wanted to share that my secret is that I sometimes often more than not, eat Chick-fil-A in secret because my partner and I are queer, and Chick-fil-A is known for giving money to anti-LGBTQ plus organizations, and so we've had a lot of conversations about like why we don't eat there, or like why we don't support certain places because of things like that. And so I've somehow found myself still wanting to eat there, and then I hide it, and I've even gone so far to like put the garbage in a trash can across the street in the park away from my house so it's not in my trash can. So my partner takes the trash out. They don't see that I ate Chick-fil-A and stashed it away in the garbage can. And sometimes it makes me feel like a shitty queer person, but other times, I don't know, I don't care as much, but that's the secret.
Ooh, but the chicken good. I've
never had it.
I never had it either.
Lauren?
Yeah.
It's good. Is it good?
Is it worth betraying your allies in the LGBTQ community?
It's not worth like your morals or something, but like it's like tasty.
It's up there with like In-N-Out.
Yeah, like I love a chicken nugget, and I would say they have really good chicken nuggets, but they're also really salty. Like anytime I've eaten Chick-fil-A, I feel really cracked out afterwards. But I understand hiding it. I think that makes a lot of sense because it's like, do you really want to have a whole big, battle? You know what you believe about your rights, and I don't think a $3 meal is going to really mean that you don't care about that.
Totally.
Also, you're not alone. I've definitely witnessed people being like, "Honey, I'm eating it. I don't care."
Sure.
Like I've seen it happen.
Here's what they need to, go ahead. Sorry.
And also, Moshe, I don't eat pork because of you, but there's been times when I've maybe had some, but I don't really like it anymore.
Here's what this person needs to do. Start manufacturing a crisis of faith where they come to their partner and say, I don't know what I feel about gay rights anymore. and then slowly over time make that grow bigger and bigger until finally they come home with a bag of Chick-fil-A and say, listen, I love you. I'm here to stay, but I'm eating Chick-fil-A.
That's nice. I like it.
Everything's a crisis of faith. It's a great idea, wouldn't you say?
Lauren, I hope we get to see you in person soon.
Same.
Me too. This is so fun.
So glad to have you on. Thank you for doing it.
What if this is the maximum social encounters we'll ever have?
Oh, wait.
How would you feel?
I mean, I guess, no, I would say I feel lucky that we have the chance to even do this because some people don't have anyone to Zoom with.
That is true. Some people are real lonely.
Yeah.
Oh, I was going to say one more thing about that secret. Sorry.
Yes.
I relate to this though because this is the experience I have with as a Jew with like Raw Dahl or like you know you go like, oh, Raw Dahl's a known anti-Semite, but you know what? This is a good ass story. James and the Giant Peach. That's a good story right there. Nick Cannon said something anti-Semitic. He's the greatest stand-up comedian of our era. You know, I have to watch it. You know.
Just watch Nanette, Moshe.
Okay, all right. Lauren, thank you for joining us. We really do appreciate it.
Oh my God, I'm so glad I got to do this.
Same here.
All right, we'll see you soon.
Do you have anything you want to plug or anything like that before we say goodbye? You have anything to drop?
Sure. I mean,
Tell us about your podcasts.
Yeah, I have a podcast called Freedom that I do with Scott Aukerman and Paula Tompkins, where we just talk about our lives and we play games together. And then I have a podcast called Newcomers with Nicole Byer, where we watch things that we've never seen. We watched all of Star Wars. We watched all of Lord of the Rings and then some. We watched all the Tyler Perry movies that we could in a certain amount of time. And now we're about to do something else that's exciting, but I can't announce it yet. But I think people are going to be happy because they've been wanting us to do this for a long time.
Will you guys watch that? I love this idea. And will you guys watch them together?
We have some watch-alongs where you can like sync us up talking over like the first Star Wars movie and stuff. And we're like, what? Who's that? Like, we don't know anything that's going on. So it's really fun.
And you guys, like, you're watching things too that you just never were really interested in.
Sorry, what?
But now you were watching things that you weren't really interested in, but now you are watching them because everyone's saying it's good, kind of thing.
It's like we were just feeling like there was a point where I had talked about on a podcast that I'd never seen any Star Wars movie. And then I was like, maybe I should do a show about that. And I was like, I don't want to fucking watch all the Star Wars movies. But then I heard Nicole hadn't done it either. So it was like, well, that'll be funny then.
Hey, well, if you guys ever need a third, I haven't watched them either.
Yeah, you know what? The truth is, they've seen them now.
Oh, they've seen them.
Now I know everything about now I know every character. I know about every little quote they've ever said. I've analyzed it all. I'm very, very educated on the matter.
Well, the truth is, for me, in my life, my big movies are the Star Wars trilogy and Why Did I Get Married? So I really like that you guys are bringing all that together. Lauren Lapkus, thank you for joining us. Really, really appreciate it.
Thanks.
Listener podcast, one of the funniest people. Can we say in the world? Let's say in the world.
That's nice.
And you can tell that she's a good mom.
And a good mom and a great comedian and as she said at the beginning of this podcast, a better and more highly trained actress than Meryl Streep. As she said, those are her words, not ours. She said, I'm a better actress than Meryl Streep. Lauren Lapkus, thank you so much.
Bye.
Bye.
Thanks, Lauren.